Hi guys, welcome back. Chem or Chem. In this video, we are going to see some important problems based on phenol-phenol rearrangement. In addition to that, some problems from previous year exam are also included in this video. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe. According to phenol-phenol rearrangement, vicinal diols can be converted into the corresponding ketone or aldehyde in the presence of acid. So in this reaction basics as well as mechanism we already discussed in our channel. If you missed this, you just log on our channel, you find the phenol rearrangement part 1. So now we move on the some important problems. Number 1, this is the question from IISC 2013 PhD entrance exam paper. So now you see this vicinal diol. So that vicinal diol contains 4-member ring system. When you subject under the 20% sulfuric acid, we would expect to get this 4-membered cyclobutanone ring system. However, in this reaction, so this cyclobutanone ring system is not formed. Instead of that, you will get this 3-membered ring containing ketone as a product. So now we'll see how this 3-membered ring ketone is formed. 3-membered ring containing ketone is formed. So when you subject under the acid, so one of the hydroxy group will readily protonate, then followed by kickoff as a water molecule, you will get this carbocation intermediate. So this 4-membered carbocation intermediate is one of the strained carbocation. So according to the migratory aptitude, phenyl group will get more priority. Therefore, that phenyl group migrated towards to this carbocation center. So which leads to generate one more strained carbocation. So for that reason, so our expected that 4-membered cyclobutanone ring system is not formed in that reaction. Instead of phenyl migration, so in this reaction, that CH2 group migrated towards to the carbocation center, which results the generation of this new carbocation. This carbocation is stabilized by phenyl group as well as hydroxy group. Now this hydroxy group has lone pair of electron that moves towards to this carbocation center, which leads to generate one more resonance form, then followed by kick of the H plus ion, which leads to generate the 3-membered ring containing ketone as a product. I already said this particular carbocation is stabilized by phenyl as well as hydroxy group. Apart from that, one more stabilization factor would be possible. You just see this is somewhat similar to cyclopropyl methyl carbocation. Cyclopropyl methyl carbocation is one of the super stable carbocation. So just like similar to that type of carbocation, here you see we can explain by frontier molecular orbital interactions. So here you see these all are cyclopropyl frontier molecular orbitals. So this will act as a HOMO. HOMO means highest occupied molecular orbitals. The same time, here you see that vacant p orbital act as a LUMO, lowest unoccupied molecular orbital. So these two orbitals are present in the perpendicular to each other in order to get better overlap. So according to this, the electrons will flow from HOMO to LUMO in order to better overlap. In this way, the cyclopropyl and methyl carbocation is stabilizes. See, we can easily visualize this fact by resonance forms. So here you see that cyclopropyl and as well as this attached this carbon has carbocation. Now you see this carbon-carbon bonded electron may possible to move towards to this electron deficient center, that means carbocation center. So which leads to breaking of this carbon-carbon bond, this will get positive charge, and similarly, if you break this carbon-carbon bond, you will get positive charge. So these all the structures are resonance stable structure. So sometimes people call this one is a dancing resonance. In this way, this cyclopropyl methyl carbocation is stabilizes this particular system. So or in the combination of these two factors such as that phenyl group, hydroxy group, as well as the cyclopropyl group would stabilize this carbocation. For that reason, we are selectively getting that cyclopropane containing ketone as a sole product. So next we move on problem number 2. So this is the question from JAM 2009. So you see this vicinal diols, one side has 5-membered ring system as well as another side also 5-membered ring system. So here one of the hydroxy group, so readily protonate. Since this system highly symmetrical system, so doesn't matter which hydroxy group will protonate, then followed by kickoff as a water molecule. So which leads to generate this carbocation, then followed by 1,2 shift takes place. Here you say that second carbon moves towards to this carbocation center, resulting that ring expansion takes place. This is the 5-member ring system. After ring expansion, you will get the 6-member ring system. So once if you get this carbocation, so this hydroxy group has 2 lone pair of electron. One of the lone pair of electron moves towards to this carbocation center. So you will get resonance structure. So this resonance structure, once if you get this resonance structure, that fall of H plus ions, you will get this pyroketone as a product. Next, moving on problem number 3. Now you look this unsymmetrical diol. Due to the unsymmetrical nature, there is a possibility to produce the mixture of products. For example, when you try to protonate this hydroxy group, you possible to get this product A, and similarly when you try to protonate this hydroxy group, here there is a possibility to get the product B, and apart from this product A and product B, there is another possibility to get the product C because of that elimination takes place. So all these products can be possible to get when you subject under the acid condition. So here I tabulated some of the acidic conditions. For example, when you use 20% of sulfuric acid, product C as a major product in this particular case, and similarly when you use 50% of sulfuric acid at 20 degrees Celsius, again product C only as a major product. However, when we use concentrated sulfuric acid at 0 degrees Celsius, in this particular case, product B is a major product, and the same reaction when you conduct under 97 degrees Celsius, in this case product A as a major product. And when you use Lewis acid such as PF3 etherate at room temperature conditions, so once again you will get the B as a product. So based on the reaction condition, so there are 3 possibilities to get the product in this particular unsymmetrical diol. So now we will see how that product B is formed as a major product in this case of concentrated sulfuric acid at 0 degrees Celsius as well as Lewis acid conditions. So once if you get the carbocation from the dehydration of this particular hydroxy group, so you will get this carbocation center. So after get this carbon-carbon bond breaking, this carbon moves towards to this carbocation center, resulting that ring expansion takes place, which generate this carbocation. Now this oxygen lone pair of electrons comes towards this carbocation center, which leads to generate this resonance form. Then after that, removal of H plus ion, which leads to generate that major 7-membered ring spiroketone product. So in case of concentrated sulfuric acid at 97 degrees Celsius also, initially this product only formed. So after formation of this product, then quickly converted into the product A. So now we will see how that product B is converted into the A under the 97 degrees Celsius. Once you get this 7-membered ketone that readily interacted with acid at 97 degrees Celsius, that generates this new carbocation center. Once if you generate this new carbocation, this carbon-carbon bond breaks down, this carbon moves towards to this carbocation center, which results that ring expansion takes place. That means that 5-member ring system expanded into 6-membered, then followed by this new carbocation generated in this center. So after that, this carbon-carbon bond breaks down, moves towards to this carbocation center, which results that new carbocation intermediate. So this new carbocation intermediate is resonance stabilized. Here you see that oxygen has lone pair of electron that comes inside, moves towards to this carbocation center, which leads to generate this intermediate. Once if you get this intermediate, quickly fall off the H plus ions, which leads to generate this new spiroketone. In the way, here you see, in the way reaction conditions kindly influences the selectivity of the product formation. Next, we're moving on problem number 4. So this is the question from University of Hyderabad 2019 PhD entrance exam question paper. Here you see this is also unsymmetrical diol. Therefore, there is a equal possibility to protonate the each hydroxy groups. We already seen that 4-membered ring system, one of the strain ring system, which is bond angle is 90 degree, which is deviated from the 109 degree. Therefore, if you protonate this particular hydroxy group, which leads to generate strained carbocation intermediate, which is not ideal. Therefore, this hydroxy group selectively protonate, which leaves as a water molecule, leads to generate this carbocation intermediate. Now, the second carbon migrated towards to the carbocation intermediate by 1,2 shift, which leads to generate new 5-membered ring system by ring expansion process. Because of that ring expansion, that 4-membered ring system strain got relieved. Now you compare the bond angle, 4-membered ring system bond angle is 90 degree, while that 5-membered ring system bond angle is 107 degree, which is close to 109 degree. Therefore, that 5-membered ring system is stable when compared to the 4-membered ring system contains carbocation. Once it generates this carbocation, now that oxygen has lone pair of electron that's moves towards to this carbocation center, which leads to generate one more resonance form. After get this resonance form, H plus ions fall off, which leads to provides corresponding cyclobutanone product. So overall, the strain plays a major role in order to trigger in this reaction. So next we're moving on, problem number 5. Once again, here you see this is also unsymmetrical diol. Here also there is a equal possibilities to protonate each hydroxy group. So here, however, selectively, this hydroxy group selectively protonate. Once if it protonate, that oxygen plays a crucial role in order to generate some new carbocation intermediate. If you know the neighboring group participation, you will understand this concept. So here this oxygen has 2 lone pair of electron that readily takes part in the neighboring group participation reaction. This oxygen lone pair attacks this carbon, which kick off this as a water molecule. So once if that oxygen donated its electron to this carbon center, now oxygen will get positive charge. Then followed by that that electrons moves towards to the oxygen, since oxygen has electronegative element, so which leads to generate this new carbocation intermediate. This type of neighboring group participation is not possible in the cyclohexyl system. So once if it generate this carbocation intermediate, now that second carbon migrated towards to this carbocation center by 1,2 shift. Again, ring expansion takes place. Here you see 6-member ring system expanded into 7-membered ring system. Now this carbocation stabilized by resonance by oxygen lone pair of electrons. After that, kick off the H plus ions, which lead to generate corresponding ketone as a product. So next we're moving on, problem number 6. This is the question from CSIR 2022. So here you see this one also unsymmetrical diol. So once if you see the unsymmetrical vicinal diol in the cyclic system, you just convert into the corresponding chair form. After convert into the corresponding chair form, you just see where that hydroxy groups at reside. Since we already see in our pinacol-pinacolone rearrangement part 1, if you have the hydroxy group at the axial position, those hydroxy groups is readily departed as a water molecule when you subject under acid condition to generate the corresponding carbocation intermediate. But here there are two hydroxy groups, both the hydroxy groups reside at the equatorial position. Therefore, next we should see if you generate the carbocation, which carbocation is more stable one. So for example, when you depart this hydroxy group, when you place the carbocation, this one is not much stable because there is no groups to stabilize this particular carbocation. But in case of if you depart this equatorial hydroxy group, here there is a phenyl group which is highly stabilized that particular carbocation intermediate. So here when you use Lewis acid BF3 etherate, this one is a electron deficient one. Here hydroxy group has two lone pair of electron. One of the lone pair of electron attacks the electron deficient boron atom, which leads to kick off diethyl ether molecule that leads to generate this corresponding intermediate. Once if you get the intermediate, this bond breaks down, which leads to generate this corresponding carbocation. So once if you get the carbocation, next step would be a one to shift. Here particularly that hydrogen hydride ion shift takes place. Here you see how this one takes place. So this hydrogen ion migrated in the bottom phase. Once again, I am saying this hydride ion migrating towards the bottom phase in order to get this corresponding carbocation center. So once if it migrated, here you see, because this hydride ion migrated in the bottom phase, for that reason hydrogen here attached in the equatorial position. Once if you generate this intermediate, once again this intermediate is resonance stabilized, which gives this particular resonance stabilized intermediate, then followed by kick off the H plus ion, which leads to generate this ketone. This is one of the important example for stereoselectivity in the pinacol-pinacolone rearrangement reaction. There is not much reactions are available in the stereoselective fashion in pinacol-pinacolone rearrangement. Particularly in this case, this is called anchoring group. So this one, when you put the anchoring group, we can restrict the conformational changes of this particular ring system. So because of that one, that hydride ion selectively migrated from the bottom phase. So once again, I would like to remind you, when we study the rigid cyclic system, we already studied that migrating group always in the anti-periplanar. But in this case, hydride ion has more migratory power. So here hydride ion dominated much in this reaction. For that reason, hydride ion migrated towards to the bottom phase. So which leads to provide this product. So after that, when you convert into this form, so here you see that stereochemistry clearly I mentioned. So next we moving on problem number 7. So here you see this one, one of the symmetrical diol. Again, this one is a fused diol. So when you subject under acid condition, there is no matter which hydroxy group will protonate first because of symmetrical molecule. One of the hydroxy group readily protonate, and which leaves as a water, leads to generate corresponding carbocation. Now Here there are two center I circled in green as well as red color. So here there are two possibilities. Either this carbon may possible to migrate, or that red circled carbon probably possible to migrate. So when you migrate this green carbon, you will get ring contracted 5-membered ring system. But in case of when you migrate this red circled carbon, you will get 4-membered ring contracted system. We already seen that 4-membered ring system is one of the trained ring system. Therefore, this green circled carbon selectively migrated towards this carbocation center by 1,2 shift, which leads to generate ring contracted 5-membered spiro ring system. So once if you get this form, so this oxygen has lone pair of electron that moves towards to the carbocation center, which is resonance stabilized to form. After get this form, so you lost the H plus ion, you will get the corresponding ketone product. So we already discussed in our channel series of esterification, macrolactonization, as well as rearrangement reaction. If you missed this series, please log on our channel. You can find these videos. So in our next videos, we will see part 3 problems based on pinacol-pinacolone rearrangement. Until bye-bye.